see you with your man all the time. These fellas down, go away. You gotta know this. Got a crush for you, got a crush for you once. I ain't spending my life all the time. Nigga, I'm lame now. You can't go, we all want what we can't have. I just know what I need and that's you. Baby, that's you. They say woman trash is woman trash. Look in the mirror, girl, you can do better. You know you can do better. Got a crush on you, don't know what to do. Know I can get out of the way. I only want you. I need to fall through. No, we smoking on the edges. Drinking on something you feel in your chest. But you ain't ready yet. I got a crush on you, but it's no one in the past. Know that this feeling not for you. It's more than some love, and it's more than just a baby, just wait a minute. I read the stars, and I see a day on it. June 9th, moonlights, you right next to me. Heard she a dance and show you dance, emotional romance, and just get the pants, then leave when the dancing. We can be best friends. We can be best friends. Last week I saw you at the mall, staring at a young nigga watching how balls. You had a vision.
What's going on? What's going on? It's the Hoodmystic representing www.com. I think that's what it is. Patreon.com/TheHoodMystic. PayPal.me/TheHoodMystic. Cash App Hoodmystic38, because we do work for tips in the Patreon family. We just want to appreciate y'all for supporting and keeping this content going. We don't have any sponsors, any corporate sponsors, or anything like that. This program is brought to you by the people, by the listeners who support this program, and this is why I'm up early in the morning to make sure that we have this message for the Patreon family. So thanks to the Patreon family. If you're interested in joining the Patreon family for as little as $1 a month, please go over to patreon.com/TheHoodMystic. Definitely appreciate y'all. Definitely deeply gratified for the family and the people in the public who's trying to figure this thing out. Hopefully I could be of some assistance to you guys. Interesting weekend. Just kind of deep into the spirit, deep into my studies, deep trying to understand life, understand myself. Think I got some answers for this week. Definitely have this week planned with my lives and the things that I'm going to begin to be discussing this week. And long story short, I'm just going to go deeper into self, deeper into the esoteric side of things. And you know, if I was ever exoteric, if I was ever dealing with the surface of things, I'm going to go deeper. I'm not really getting into the exoteric astrology and things of that nature. There's enough of that going on in the world that I don't feel the need to address that type of stuff. So I'm going to deal with more of the soul, more of the transformation, more of the spiritual development side of things. So if you're interested in that, that's where you come to get that type of information. If you're interested in some exoteric astrologers who's like more into, you know, just astrology for what it stands, then let me know. I'll point you in that direction. So definitely gonna look at the chart today. The thing that I want to focus on is Mercury going direct over the weekend and what that means. And so what that actually means is really starting over, where if the Mercury retrograde provided positive feelings and positive vibrations and positive emotions, then over the weekend you kind of lost that as Mercury turned back direct. Because like, you just have to imagine. I had this analogy when we were explaining Mars retrograde. It's like walking to the store and then realizing that you forgot your wallet and now you have to go back home. Now, as Mercury goes direct, this is the point where you have to go back home. You've completed the mission and now you have to go back home. Now you got to meet back up with your family, meet up with your boys, meet up with your girls, and tell them about your adventure. And so you realize that, okay, I have a long journey and you have to walk through it. You know how long this walk has been. So you know you have to begin to walk it back and then go over the things that we've discussed in the second decan of Leo, which Mercury resides in, where we're just really re-identifying ourselves with our divine lineage, our spiritual lineage, and how that shows up in this world. So this is a very difficult time to process, especially if you're into the spiritual stuff. You know, if you're really into it, like you're really trying to know self and really get there. The point is, when you actually get there and then realizing that everybody around you is not on that same path. That's the pain. That's the hurt of the journey. That's what actually stops people from even attaining spirituality. Is because that our friends and our family won't be coming along with us. And so as we begin to process this, we process it and we don't look at it in a way where it's gonna bring us down. And that's why I enjoy my work. I enjoy talking and doing this astrology on a daily level, because, you know, there are ups and downs in this shit. Once you make a connection, now you have to figure out where to go, as opposed to thinking that everything is going to be a-okay as long as I meditate, as long as I, do everything that I'm supposed to do. There are roadblocks. There are things that happen emotionally and mentally that if you're not cognizant and daily with your spiritual attainment, then you could easily get distracted and forget everything that we've talked about, everything we've built on this channel. Like, this is a very subtle, very sensitive subject. Very much like building a sandcastle in the middle of a tsunami. It's not logical to discuss this consciousness, to build a relationship with self, because knowing that at any moment anybody can come and just knock it down, and more than likely they are going to knock it down, and you're going to have to be the idiot to still try to sit there and build the sandcastle during the tsunami, because you know that eventually the rain will subside and you'll be the only one there with the sandcastle and you'll win. And so, speaking of winning, we're going to discuss the moon in Sagittarius. Throughout this week, we're going to really talk about the moon and how it's going to dance and swim around Saturn, Pluto, and Mars, and eventually end up, it's going to deal with Neptune and eventually be opposed to Sun as we begin to discuss this full moon in Pisces. So if you're interested in understanding this full moon energy and what we have to look forward to, I encourage you to implore below. The description is in the link. The links are in the descriptions rather of the full moon in Pisces video and also the full moon in Pisces article. So please check those things out. Besides that, the moon in Sagittarius, we're really dealing with our subconscious mind here. We're really going to be, when I said we're going to be more esoteric, more centered into spirituality, we're going to really focus on the moon and its transits and the way it moves. And of course, we're going to deal with other transits and other planetary influences, but I really want us to understand the moon. I really want us to grasp the moon, especially as it goes through Saturn, Pluto, and Mars, as we really connect with, planetary deity energy and not like something outside of ourselves. We align with this energy within ourselves. So if we're going through a tough time, if we're going through a difficult process. It's just more or less of a redirecting of energy, and you having to realize that you have to keep going. You have to continue to align with purpose. If energy shifts, if you feel a certain type of way than you didn't feel a couple days ago, and you still have to deal, you're still issues and efforts and things that goes on that you have to begin to process. So this is more or less of a reassertion, a reestablishment. If you want to think of an analogy to understand the moon in Sagittarius as we begin to discuss the moon, it's spiritual paperwork. Nobody likes paperwork, but we all understand and realize that paperwork is necessary for our authorization. So as we make the declaration or the proclamation to unite with self, then it's like, okay, now let's finalize this. Let's do the spiritual paperwork. Let's understand this, and as we begin to move forward, you move forward legit. And so you don't want to move forward in theory. You don't want to move forward and I think he likes me, I think she likes me. You know, you want to know that, okay, this thing is seriously. And so everything around you, you make a commitment to spirit, then everything around you becomes aware. You know where you need to go. You know who you need to align with. This is a shift, as opposed to you doing the same thing that you've been doing. That's not a shift. That's the same madness. That's what Albert Einstein called insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So once you fully align to consciousness, once you fully align to self, then your direction has to be different. And of course, this is going to feel uncomfortable. This is not going to feel good. This is not going to be, you know, a bunch of lilies and birds singing and chirping. No, this is going to be inner turmoil. Like, I need to cut these people off based on the love that I have for myself. And so processing it, understanding it. And the theme of this week, the theme that I really want to center in as we begin to discuss astrology, begin to discuss spirituality, esoterics, is the theme of adversity. So many times we don't know what adversity is, and so we seek to run away from adversity. We seek to run away from challenges or contradictions to what we actually believe because we don't want that thing challenged. And this week, I'm going to challenge you to go towards that adversity, to go towards that fear, because I promise you that's where the beauty is. I promise you that's where your success is. I promise you that's why it's there. Adversity is not placed in your life so you can run from it. Challenges and obstacles are not placed in your life so you can run from it. This is something that I know. This is something that I've experienced, and now that I see clearly, there are so many people who have the opportunity to be everything that they need to be in this moment, but they will let fear be the thing that pushes them away, as opposed to the thing that say, oh, there goes some fear. Let me eat it. Let me devour it. Let me be, you know, the fear monger, the fear mongrel, or someone to that effect that just eats up fear, eats up obstacles, you know, really ready for the challenge, as opposed to someone who's just like, well, I have this adversity and that's why I ain't shit. And that's why I can't show up in my relationships. That's why I can't show up in my work. That's why I can't build with people, because I've been through some shit. What? Like, excuse me? Do you know that every successful person done been through some shit? Probably way more shit than you've been through. I mean, adversity is the thing that we should be looking for if we are figuring if we're to be successful in the future. You could easily see if you had a hard life up to this point, then I guarantee you moving forward that dealing with this consciousness is only going to envelop and develop you to a point of amazingness. If you had a difficult life. Now, if you had a perfect life up to this point and you on this channel, then maybe you need to get like some bulletproof vests, like get you a bunker, like, cause you really need to understand the point of life is to face adversity and not to celebrate yourself because you're so successful. And like, the point of success is basically, I've overcome my adversity. So what the media has done has flipped our minds into thinking that I've lived a perfect life, that's my success, when that's not really true. So these children who are inheriting these fortunes and these reality star people and things of that nature, we have to begin to feel compassion for these people, because these people are struggling the worst because they don't know how to handle adversity as adversity presents itself on the planet. The deity must be named adversity at this point, because she is fucking with people on a nature level. And then she's giving people a pass on the nature level. So you got to be very mindful of your energy and how it responds to nature. We all could do a little bit more towards nature. We all could have a little bit more reverence and more respect for nature. We all can. And the reason that, you know, our conscious leaders aren't talking about the world as it stands right now, I do not know. But I'm telling you right now that people are going through so much shit that they don't even understand it. They don't even understand how they are the one who are bringing this energy to the surface based upon their lack of understanding that they have a higher self. See, the reality is that you are more than a human being. And the relationships that you were trying to cultivate is the relationship that you should have with self. And so as we bring more into the esoterics of this, we have to bring this shit to light. Because this is the time that we're living in based upon the astrology. And so if we're not going to take it seriously and we're going to act like, you know, I just want a bigger house, my nigga, there will not be no land for you to build that big ass house on. This whole shit is changing up. So you need to really realize that the real relationship that you need to cultivate is self. And not with some dreams of a world that you're not really 100% sure is gonna be here in 10 years. Like, you can't really say, oh, everything is gonna be normal in 10 years. You can't say that. You can't say that. You have to understand that 10 years from now, we're living in a completely different world. So your ideals have to be more into the future. More into the present. Your future is now. Okay? Let's deal with these cards of the day. A little under the weather. I got cards everywhere. I just really want y'all to look at this real quick. I'm gonna just let it sink in real quick because it's very clear what's happening. Well, today being the 20th, and we have the 2s at the top, 2s at the bottom, really understanding the energy of 2, the number 2. Where 2 could be a conflict or 2 could be a unification. And when we speak of 2 in the individual, I'm not talking about me and my wife. That's not 2. Me and my wife are 1. We're 1. When we begin to discuss love and peace, we begin to discuss 2. And that is our personal relationship with our higher selves individually, period. We do not discuss, we don't get to love nor peace trying to get love from each other. Our love comes from within, and from that love from within, we're able to give each other love from that space. We're not relying on each other for, I need you to love me in this way. I need you to love me like this. Oh, when you love me like that, it feels good. But when you love me like that, I really hate it. It's more of no pressure. Because it's an understanding. And I'm just using me as an example. But wherever you are today, in this moment, Love and peace is available because love and peace is not relative to you loving some stranger. Stranger danger. Stranger danger. Because you'll wake up today and realize that you've been loving a stranger based upon reality. I don't care how good that person is. The key to esoterics, the key to spirituality, no relationship, no job, no career, no record contract, no $1 million check, no situation is going to equate to the love that you have for your higher self. It starts there and it ends there, period. When we talk about love and when you talk about peace, it's talking about the relationship that you have with your higher self. I don't really care about a personal relationship with another person, because where I'm at personally in this moment is that I'm deeply connected to hundreds, maybe even thousands, possibly even millions of people. In this moment, deep love, deep understanding. But it did not come from me going to each and every person. Will you love me? Will you love me? Will you love me? Will you love me? I want to be loved. It never happened like that. Every relationship that I've ever cultivated started with me first, and it spilled over. When I needed love from people, it was never there. I'm gonna say that one more time. When I needed love from people, it was never there. It's a reason for that. And so as we deal with the Prince of This, we're dealing with the reality. We're at the top in the middle, the Prince of This. We're dealing with the reality, a sense of where we are in the world. You look at this person standing next to you, brushing their teeth, getting ready for work. Like, oh my God, this person is a stranger. I don't know this person. You at work and you realizing, oh my God, I'm not doing anything for my future right now. I'm completely a slave to this institution. Oh my God. So anything that triggers you into realization, like, oh my God, were you seeing shit for the first time? It's okay. Don't fall into it. Just be alerted to it and realize that you are the magician, that you have control of your reality, but you do not have this control of your reality if you lost your damn mind. What I say? Lost your mind. Like, you, in order to have your mind, you have to control it. Controlling your mind, controlling your thoughts. Like, you have this ability. Your mind is so malleable and so functional, and based upon what you give it to, like, you give it instructions. Think this, think on this level. I want to attract more money. I want to attract love. I want to do this. Like, I've thought things and brought things into existence, man. I've been in situations where it was just me in just my mind, and I had to make them things figure some shit out. So the magician is not a energy that we play with. This is some foundational building blocks to magic, to occult, to law of attraction, understanding Mercury, understanding your mind, understanding that you are the magician, understanding that your mind is all. So if you have a negative vibration or a negative attitude, then you're in control of that. You want to manifest more negativity. As we look at the world, and we may see some negative things, some negative themes, some negative patterns, but if we don't begin to control our negative attitude, then those things begin to replicate, because that's what this energy is. It's going to manifest what's within you. It's going to be on the surface. Everybody's going to see you. Everybody's going to laugh at you, because you haven't done the real work of addressing the pain, or addressing those points in times where you dealt with this hangman energy, where you're sacrificing for strangers. Why? why be in a relationship with a person, right, and get to a point where I don't want to talk to you no more, fuck you, get out of my life? What? Huh? But didn't 6 months ago you were saying how much you loved him and that was your forever, and you ain't gonna never be in another relationship again, and you just love him forever? And then how many times, like, you done walked through the aisle, you done got married to this person, and now it's fuck you, get out of my life, I don't never want to see you again? How? Why? What? Wait, time out. Is this normal behavior down here on Earth? Because I could never imagine going through that with a person. But if you feel that, if you feel you could possibly do that, then that don't have shit to do with that other person. That got everything to do with your lack of understanding of where your love even fucking comes from. Because if you ever thought that a person was supposed to love you, then you got it all fucked up from the jump. Start over, timeout, reset. Who's supposed to love me? Yourself. Oh, okay. No more pressure on you, Timmy. No more pressure on you, Sharon. I'ma just rely on myself to love me. And sometimes you will get triggered into, I want to get this feeling from this person. But if you ain't say nothing, if you didn't do nothing, and maybe that person got other shit to do, then you have to process it. You can't be triggered and then put in this energy on this whole nother person. Like, it's very, very clear what you need to do, who you need to be with, or what you need to do. But what are you gonna do about it? And that's the 10 of Wands. You see those two pillars? That's you in the middle of those two pillars, knowing you got a straight line to go through. And everything else that's happening is disruptions and distractions. But you have a purpose. You have a path. And if you're gonna be with people that don't even speak to your soul, and you're not even in situations where you know that you're not even on a path, you're not even on a purpose, you're just waking up and fucking going to sleep, then you know you need to separate yourself. You know you need to get more aligned to your purpose and path, and not be a victim or a slave to these institutions, or a slave to other people that are strangers. They don't know you. They don't care about your future. They want to use you. So what are you gonna do about it? A little bit under the weather. I don't know. I've been feeling some type of way. I ain't even gonna lie, but I guess it's just like, you know, this time of year, I guess at some point in the week, I'm gonna go into story time about like my August 26th anniversary and all of this, because this energy, it really makes me feel some type of way, like real bad. But I'm trying to get over it. I'm trying to work through it, and I appreciate everybody that's like on the live, on the feed, giving back positive energy. That's why I like doing these lives, because it's very important to me. It really gives me, you know, that validation to keep moving forward, even when I have difficult feelings, even when I have difficult emotions. Because I'm not gonna lie, I woke up in a negative headspace, but I knew that doing this live, I would get out of my negative headspace. So if you woke up today in a negative headspace, and then from that point, you don't feel as negative as you was after this live, then, you know, this is what we do it for at the end of the day. If you have major questions in your life, if you are dealing with major blocks and you need some third party or a different outlook, then, you know, you have to reach out. You have to kind of deal with people who understand things at a deeper level. And I'm one of those people. So if you're interested in readings and things of that nature, TheHoodMystic.com/spiritual-services, or you could just go to HoodMystic.com, click the tab readings and consultations, look up the testimonials, look at the reviews, things of that nature. Make sure you hit up HoodMystic.com for the articles. I got a lot of notes, a lot of like source material, where videos where I'm talking you have the notes that you can kind of follow along, especially with the planet series, where it's a lot of information and I want people to be engaged and in tune. So I don't want it to be one of those things where, you know, a YouTube channel where it's a guy talking a whole bunch of stuff and, you know, you feel good and things of that nature. I got a lot of material that you can either print out or you could, you know, look on your laptop or your phone and begin to apply this real information to your life. This is education. This is not entertainment. So if it ever gets to the point where you're bored or you're not interested, that's because that's not me. It's you. You need to be engaged into what's happening, because I'm not talking about anything outside of astrology or outside of esoterics or outside of you loving yourself or outside of you being your best self. That's my goal, and that's what I do. So appreciate the family. I guess, you know, 3 days to my birthday, I'm trying to nurse myself to better health and just, you know, be more realigned as Mercury went direct. I definitely felt that shift, and it wasn't like Ed McMahon showing up to my door with a check. It was something else. So, you know, just processing it and deal with that, understanding that, and then things in my personal life that I gotta kind of deal with and address and everything. You understand what I'm saying? So I just appreciate everybody coming in on the live once again. I can't thank y'all enough. I cannot thank y'all enough. So with that being said, family, y'all have a wonderful day. Be sure to email me. Be sure to hit me up on any of the social media. I'll be available. But other than that, man, y'all have a good day.
you.